going to call balls and strikes. He's going to be down the middle. But it's not going to be a softball interview. The WNBA, Adam Silver needs to remove this commissioner. She is not doing her job.
She was going to do a meeting in her hotel room, a conference call, and then she was going to join us. So, Fritzy, for NBA staff, the PR staff said that she is an opportunity to finally say, hey, you can ask me the tough questions. What was disappointing? You don't want to come on the show? Tell me. But if you tell me you're coming on and you make us wait 2 hours.
I guess it was NBC Sports Radio.
Let's set the table here. This has been called a welfare league for years because the NBA has propped it up financially. And here's the part that should bother you regardless of what side of the Caitlin Clark debate you're on. The WNBA has never released clear profit figures, even after a season where every metric, attendance, ratings, merchandise, went through the roof. If you're not going to be transparent about your business during your best year ever, when exactly are you going to be transparent?
Of the Fever going at Caitlin Clark fans online. That is some of the most unprofessional shit I've ever seen. Ever. They're cracking under the pressure. They're out here worried about what people are saying on social media, and they're worried about content creators. Why are you even... what are you doing? It's a joke. It's not a serious league. Dan Patrick just said it. We've said it a million times. Tell me what you think.
Enter Dan Patrick, a legitimate media legend, ESPN and NBC pedigree, been doing this for decades, broadcasting live from the American Century Championship Celebrity Golf Tournament, where WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert happened to be one of the celebrities playing. That's about as perfect an opportunity for an actual sit-down interview as you could script, and it should have been an easy win for the league.
Before you said yes to us, we promoted it all day yesterday. Now, look, I know people get busy, people have agendas. The people, like it was her opportunity to finally say, hey, you can ask me the tough questions, okay? I thought this was going to be a good thing for the WNBA because people still want answers here. There's so many people who have an opinion, agendas here. And this was a chance to sit down. And yes, would the questions be tough? Yes. Yes. And I'm sure that had something to do with it. But...
And this isn't some gotcha ambush we're talking about. This is the WNBA in the middle of a real PR crisis, with Congress actively looking into potential civil rights violations within the league. When you've got federal lawmakers asking questions, the last thing you do is dodge the one journalist who's actually offering you a fair platform to answer them on your own terms.
Show, right? And they are out at a golf tournament, celebrity golf tournament. There's all kinds of folks out there. I saw earlier, I just did a video about Seattle Seahawks head coach Mike McDonald on Black and White Sports Football. And he was on the Dan Patrick show, oddly enough. Well, Dan Patrick had scheduled Cathy Engelbert, the commissioner of the WNBA, to come in and look.
She agreed to the interview, they promoted it, and then she backed out. And to make it worse, Patrick's crew had live footage of her hitting practice shots on the course literally while the show was on the air. You can't be 50 yards away golfing and claim you were too busy for a scheduled interview. That's not a scheduling conflict, that's a decision, and it's a bad look no matter how you spin it.
Not just as it's simulcast or whatever, but I don't know where Dan Patrick's show is now on radio. It used to be on, I guess it was NBC Sports Radio. I don't know what it's on now. But I know it's still all over the place. I think I can still watch it on Peacock.
Here's Patrick's own account, and it's damning. Yesterday, after the show, we waited almost 2 hours for her. We're standing by. We're waiting to interview her. That's not a 5-minute delay. That's an entire broadcast left hanging because a sitting commissioner couldn't be bothered to send a timely update, let alone show up.
And she backed out. By the way, she is at this golf tournament. Dan Patrick, his crew, has pictures of Cathy Engelbert taking practice swings at this golf tournament that he is broadcasting from. And she backed out. Adam Silver needs to remove this commissioner. She is not doing her job. Let's listen to this, folks. I want us to do a reaction to it.
And Patrick makes the point that matters most here. Engelbert should be the one calling the shots on her own media appearances, not some PR staffer telling her she's not allowed to sit down with a legitimate journalist. If Adam Silver himself told her to skip it, fine, that's a different conversation. But getting overruled by your own communications department when you're supposed to be the face of the league is genuinely embarrassing.
Watching anymore. And some of them are just saying, until they get change of leadership all the way across the board, Stephanie White, Cathy Engelbert, all of it, until there's a douching of the league, they're not watching. Well, television networks paid you money for a specific amount of views. You're losing those viewers. This is a disaster, a PR disaster for the WNBA. The WNBA is in a crisis mode.
Did you check with PR before you said yes to us? We promoted it all day yesterday. That's the exact right question to ask, and instead of a real sit-down, Engelbert went on a Kansas City radio station where, according to Patrick, she was only asked about expansion. That's not answering the tough questions. That's cherry-picking the softest possible interview and calling it accountability.
Cowards. Cowards. You got Amber Cox, the COO, not just GM, but COO of the Fever, going at Caitlin Clark fans online. That is some of the most unprofessional shit I've ever seen. Ever. They're cracking under the pressure. They're out here worried about what people are saying on social media, and they're worried about content creators. Why are you even... what are you doing?
This isn't a one-off pattern either. Patrick points out his team couldn't get anyone at the WNBA office on the phone when the Alyssa Thomas incident with Clark happened either. Let the WNBA have their say. Get out in front of this. At some point, you have to do this. When you're a commissioner avoiding your own league's biggest storylines 2 separate times in 1 month, that's not bad luck. That's a pattern.
It says looking just for an update. We're trying to figure, we're standing by, we're waiting to interview her. They didn't, balk at anything, didn't.
That is her at the event that he is at. This golf event. He is having his show, doing his show from. She's there.
Say you can't ask anything, and we thought, okay, we're going to be able to.
And Patrick draws the exact right comparison here. He's had Rob Manfred and Adam Silver on his show, commissioners of massive leagues who show up and answer hard questions, because that's the job. If you want to be treated as a serious league, this is what happens. That line right there is the whole thesis of this entire controversy in one sentence.
Money for a specific amount of views. You're losing those viewers. This is a disaster, a PR disaster for the WNBA. The WNBA is in a crisis mode, and
Here's the prediction worth paying attention to. If the WNBA keeps dodging instead of answering, they're going to end up giving Congress a benign non-answer or a no comment, and then get dragged in front of cameras on Capitol Hill anyway, except now it looks even worse because they had every chance to get ahead of it and chose not to.
Wow. When a legend goes on his show, his radio show too, by the way, not just as it's simulcast or whatever, but I don't know where Dan Patrick's show is now on radio. It used to be on.
And this is where it stops being just a PR story and starts being a business problem. Real fans are saying on the record that they're done watching regardless of whether Clark's even in the lineup until there's real change at the top, Stephanie White included. Networks paid real money for guaranteed viewership numbers, And every fan who checks out because leadership won't answer basic questions is a number the league has to explain to its broadcast partners eventually.
In the middle, but it's not going to be a softball interview. The WNBA is in a complete PR crisis. You got Congress looking into them because they believe that there could be some civil rights violations going on in the league. And most importantly, and this is what I keep trying to say, it's still a business that has employees, and your employees have to go to work in a safe work environment. That's the way it is.
This is a disaster, a PR disaster. They're cowards. Strong word, but look at the full picture. You've got the commissioner dodging a scheduled interview, and separately, Fever COO Amber Cox going after Clark fans online, which by any standard is an unprofessional look for a senior executive. When your own leadership is more reactive to social media than to the actual questions piling up around your league, that's the real story here.
And you make us wait 2 hours, that's a problem. And that says a lot about what's going on, in my opinion, with the WNBA.
Wow. When a legend goes on his show, his radio show too, by the way, not just as it's simulcast or whatever, but I don't know where Dan Patrick's show is now on radio. It used to be on, I guess it was NBC Sports Radio. I don't know what it's on now, but I know it's still